All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Codec, episode 34, post show, our final post show of the year. Um, Still got Yong and Ronan with me here. We're going to talk a little bit about some news flopping around in the game industry. Maybe you guys heard of this little thing that happened where Hideo Kojima started a new studio. Yong, I don't know if you've heard about this. It's not
Yeah,
really.
he was
This
basically
is news to
like,
me.
"Fuck you, Konami," and just stuck it up their asses. It's beautiful.
For me, as soon as I heard this, I started thinking of some stuff. I feel like it happened so fast that I
Yes.
feel like maybe this was the plan all along, was for this to be his last Metal Gear and him to be done, and maybe that's why Konami has been so headstrong and removing his name from this and shutting down this studio and doing all this, because it makes sense. If they shut down Kojima Productions, then he can take that name, and so my feeling is maybe he had planned to leave, and Konami's backlash was them acting like children about him leaving. So don't know if that's the case, but that's what makes the most sense to me. Is
It's a great theory. It's a great theory.
Well, I think
but I'm happy for him.
I think he planned it out. I mean, after he got the notice that Kojima Productions is gonna be disbanded, and that I don't know if he was fired or he left on his own volition, but I'm sure
Right.
from there he wasn't just fiddling with his thumbs. He was planning things out
Yeah.
for the future, and
That's-
he wanted to get it over with as soon as possible so that he could move on. So I think it just, the reason it happened so fast was because he really wanted to move on quickly to
Yeah.
start his new next
I
project.
just know as a from a business standpoint, working with some of the guys at Nation Fusion, like these kind of things take a long time to solidify and get contracts down and all that stuff. So I feel like he had planned on moving. Maybe when he made that video, that farewell video, like maybe he had everything laid and set right then, and he knew he was
Which
going to
farewell
Sony.
video?
The one that they did for, I think it was like GameSpot or something, or IGN, where they have the five like Metal Gear things, and then they were talking.
Was that when he did
Kojima.
when he did the announcement for the release
was-
date for the Phantom Pain?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think right about that time he knew that he was going to go somewhere else, because they got some cool stuff already in the works. They've announced that they've got a PS4 exclusive. I think it's going to come to PC eventually, from what I read as well.
Yeah.
And they've got a badass new studio with some returning members from his
A pretty sick logo on top of that.
pretty sick logo. I love it. So, Young, I'd like to hear what you think about him starting his own studio, and then what do you think this game could be? I've heard rumors that it involves mechs.
Well, first of all, it's about damn time.
Seriously.
Finally moved on from that shithole into. I mean, he's gone independent. That's beautiful news, I think. No more stupid restrictions. I mean, obviously, that could mean that he won't get as big of a funding as he would if he was published by a conglomerate like Konami. But then again, he also has a lot of support from, like Sony.
Yeah.
They are backing him up completely with this PlayStation 4 exclusive. I wouldn't expect his next game to be in this scale that Phantom Pain is. I think he already said, in fact, in the IGN interview, that he's making this game, smaller scale. That doesn't mean the game is going to be small, but just smaller scale, just focus on certain things rather than making it enormous and ridiculous. So, yeah, it's going to be, I think, just a really cool venture for him. And I think, you mentioned mechs. I mean, if Yoji Shinkawa's on board, there's got to be mechs. And in fact, his job description was said to be, arts for character design, for mech design, and what have you. And I'm just like, okay, so confirmed. Mechs, thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll take it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of game it is. Is it going to be stealth action with a
Mech
twist?
Warrior 4.
Mech Warrior 4, Zone of the Enders, or Area of the Finishers? You don't fucking know. Iron.
Young, yeah, everybody circumventing IPs for
Iron Cog, you know,
for
whatever.
days, for
We'll
days.
see. Yeah, but I think it's gonna be futuristic. I feel like it's gonna have
Yeah.
some kind of futuristic
I feel like
vibe
he
to it.
wants to do a futuristic
Yeah, I
game.
think so too. And just the logo has a very sort of. I think the logo is a. This is just my theory. I don't know if this is true at all, but I feel like the logo could be a hint in regards to what
It could be.
yeah, what his
It could
next
be.
title could be, because the Fox logo, you know, references Metal Gear.
Yeah.
When he did the fake Moby Dick logo, that was a reference to Phantom Pain and its many themes. So I feel like him and logos of studios, like it's a thing. So I think you know, we see the skull inside a medieval helmet that is also meant to look like a space helmet.
Yeah, he said that, didn't he? He said something
Yeah.
like this logo also is a
Yeah.
space helmet or something
And
like
there's
that.
a lot of emphasis on words like Homo sapiens and Homo ludens, and I
Homo
feel like
ludens,
that
yeah.
could also tie into the next game. Maybe it's about evolution or something. Maybe it's about how humanity evolved into the future and what kind of state they're living in now. You know, Metal Gear covers a lot of pseudo history of the past and modern historical elements. Maybe now he's gonna cover futuristic historical pseudo history things.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, obviously we know nothing about this game, so I couldn't
Right.
tell you what it's about. But he did say this game is gonna be something that, like, it's gonna be something that people expect, but also it's gonna be new. It's gonna have new. It's gonna be a new experience. So I feel like maybe in that case, this could be a stealth action game. Maybe Kojima will play to his strengths in this new venture, but obviously not make it a Metal Gear ripoff. He's gonna make it unique somehow.
Yeah.
So that's just about the extent of the theories that I have. And I don't know. I wish him the best of luck. I'm really excited to see
Absolutely.
what it is. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be good.
The only thing that confused me is they made this announcement about him working on this new game and whatnot, but I'm curious if it was maybe in production or maybe it got started before he got there. Maybe he
It
sent
probably
his team.
did. There probably
Because
some
it's-
ideas
because
that
it's
were
really-
thrown around.
Because it seems like it may be not that far off. Like maybe in a year or two, this game will be.
Well, they haven't even chosen a game engine, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
They haven't.
They're still deciding on
They're
an
still
engine right
deciding
now.
on whether they want to make a new game engine or if they want to use a game engine that already
Maybe
exists.
Sony,
The fact,
Right.
Sony
yeah.
can get the.
The fact that they haven't even made that decision tells me they haven't even started. Like, I'm sure they have concepts.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is
Ideas.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody, just pre-planned maybe some of the story outlines or the,
Yeah, I'm
the
sure- I'm
concept
sure,
art.
yeah.
That probably happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's
absolutely.
been happening in the background.
That's
But
good. I
in
think
terms
that's
of
cool.
game assets, like, I don't think they're anywhere close
Yeah,
to
no, no.
conceptualizing
Right. I
would assume not.
anything physical. But I mean, that's that. So I
Ronan,
just-
what do you think, man? What's your thoughts on this whole situation?
It's funny because when they made this announcement, of course, I watched the video with him, and by the way, I have to say, Andrew House, his Japanese was on point. I feel like I was more
swear
impressed
I thought
by
it was
that.
a dub. I thought it was a dub. But I was
I'm like, am I watching anime right now? What's going on? Oh, he's actually speaking Japanese. I'm like, so his Japanese was on point. I feel like I was more impressed by that, but than anything else that was happening in that video. But outside of that, it was quite interesting to see because when this came out, I'm like, I of course I could see him going to Sony. People were like, why did he go to Sony? Why is he doing a thing where he's doing multi-platform games? And I kind of feel like the multi-platform thing was not necessarily a decision on his end,
Yeah.
but more of a Konami thing. They wanted the games to go multi-platform. I feel like he's always had that affinity for Sony since the beginning with Metal Gear Solid, the original Metal Gear Solid. So, of course, this was the logical choice on his end at least. But looking at what the new logo is and the thing about Homo sapiens and Homo ludens, and he also mentioned how they are knights as well. And when I saw the word knight, the first thing that came to my mind was Knights of Sidonia. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's actually a pretty interesting anime that premiered, I want to say, maybe a year or two ago. And Kojima actually had something to say about the anime as well. He actually praised it for its themes and being something new and fresh anime hasn't done before. And it's also a mech anime about humans and stuff like that. So I'm like, perhaps this next game may have some inspiration from that, I would say. But
good pickup.
it's really too early to say. But I would like to see a Knights of Sidonia themed game by him at least.
That'd be kinda cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So it's kind of hard to say, but those are just my theories on it so far. We have to wait and see what's going to happen when the game does come out, or when we get more information on it. But it does, like we mentioned, it does seem like they had the concepts planned out for a while now, and they finally gotten to a point where they can start making something happen with that.
Yeah.
And also people ask me if they might consider using some of Sony's in-house engines, like what they use for Uncharted 4, and I'm like, I don't see that happening because Naughty Dog isn't a studio where they license out their engines to different companies. So I don't see that happening at all. It might be a thing of them using a pre-existing engine that gets licensed out, or something that they do in-house along with Sony as well.
Unity 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Unreal Engine 6, folks.
That's what we need, is another Unity game.
Unreal Engine 6. There we go.
So the flip side of this, guys, is now that Kojima is gone, a lot of people are hopping on board. Like a Team Jacob, team this kind of thing, where now everybody's like, I don't want to play any new Metal Gears. I've been trying to kind of the opposite of fan. I've been trying to put out those flames, and I'm like, give them a chance. It's not, I love the work that Kojima has done. Obviously, he brought this game to life and has, been with it for, 25 years. But if he's not passionate about it anymore and he doesn't want to make Metal Gears, like he's said multiple times, I don't think you should, destroy the franchise for that. Yeah, we've all have this issue with Konami and stuff like that, but as we've said before, there's plenty of people that work at Konami that are great and amazing people. It's not necessarily the staff that you guys should be upset about. It's more of the way that the company handles things. So I've been telling people, give this new Metal Gear, talk that's in the works, give it a chance. At least check out a trailer or something before you hop on board with the down with Metal Gear. Don't make another Metal Gear. I would like to see Metal Gear not a yearly franchise, but maybe a bi-yearly franchise. Maybe every 2-3 years get another Metal Gear. Obviously it's never going to have that same impact that Kojima has had on it. But I love the universe. I loved Rising. For what it was. It wasn't obviously my favorite, and but I like that, and with the quote unquote non-canon is canon game with portable ops, that was pretty good. So I don't have a necessarily like negative outlook on it. I'm very cautious, but I'm curious what you guys think. Are you never playing another Metal Gear game because Konami makes it, or will you give it a chance?
Well, as long as it's not a pachinko, I'd be willing to give it a chance. It's got to look good. If they can release a trailer and, prove that they're actually trying with this game and not trying to just cash in some money with the Metal Gear name, then, hell yeah, I'd play it. But they've got to prove themselves. They've done a lot of stupid shit over the past few months, and it's just not getting a lot of confidence. And honestly, their track record is just not very good. Anytime the creator of a series has left the company, they've gone ahead and made it worse. Honestly, they don't have my confidence. But if they can win it back by proving that they are really trying hard with a new Metal Gear that is actually going to be good, then sure, I'd be willing to give it a try. Although I'm curious to see whether they're going to continue Kojima's story, which I don't think they will, or if they're going to start a brand new sort of Konami Metal Gear story thing.
I think it'll all be in the same universe regardless. Maybe not connected.
Maybe they'll... I don't know if they're going to bring back characters like Solid Snake and Emmerich and Ocelot. I don't know if they're going to repurpose them.
It'll be like something with like Raiden or another kind of other character that maybe not a main character.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't know if they're trying to completely remove this series from anything Kojima created, because they've been trying so hard to get rid of Kojima and to shame him and all that crap. I feel like they wouldn't want to use anything related to anything that he created, basically, including characters like Solid Snake. Maybe they'll call him Snake, but he'll look different, and he'll have maybe a different code name. Maybe it'll just be sort of a reboot. I don't know.
Could be.
But if the game looks good, I'd be willing to give it a try. It's just I really don't think it'll live up to
Yeah,
the
I think that's
standards.
important. Like, you don't have to necessarily like believe in it, but as long as you're not shutting the door just because Kojima's not involved, I think that's what I've been trying to tell people. If you want to be skeptical, definitely do that. I'm skeptical. The only reason why I've given them even the slightest benefit of the doubt is because they have been delivering content still for Metal Gear Solid 5. In the form of free content updates. Obviously, they still have some shitty DLC, but none of their shitty DLC is like game breaking. You know what I mean? It's not like some other games who've put in story content DLC day one, like Mass Effect for stuff like that. It's like a cat hat or some mother base insurance. So it's stuff that you don't absolutely 100% need, but they have been adding new things, new weapons, new security options for your FOB and things like that. So I have been kind of happy with that. And I heard there's a new game mode coming out as well called Survival.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
So yeah, they're adding, the support for this game has been pretty stellar so far. So
I'm curious to see what happens
in
January too with Metal Gear Online for the PC. Which I haven't really heard anything about lately.
Right. Well, I mean, didn't they say it was coming out next month?
Yeah, January 15th.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out next month. That's what I'm saying, but I haven't heard anything recently about it, like any updates on the progress of it, or if it's still on schedule, or anything like that. But Ronan, I'm curious to what you think about the previous question about, the Metal Gear, the new Metal Gear.
I mean, it kind of I kind of go along with what Young is saying. Like, I'd have to see what it is first before I make any judgment on that. I mean, granted, I will fully get behind the idea of people not wanting to support Konami anymore after this, because I understand their ire against what they've done, or how the situation was handled between them and Kojima. I get that, so I'm not going to condone anybody for not buying anything further from them after this situation. I will say that I a little bit of a disagreement about the fact that their support has been great for Metal Gear Solid 5 in the sense that we're going to add mother base insurance, because why not? I will say the recent updates have not done the game any favors in terms of stuff like that. I will say bringing back Quiet as a playable character for people that want her to come back was probably a step in the right direction, but a lot of their other decisions on that part have been questionable, to say the least. I would like to see, which will probably never happen, but I would like to see them do something with Metal Gear Rising 2. I know Platinum has been they've been very coy when asked questions about that. They've said anything from "we can't talk about that right now" to all kinds of things that are going on. So we don't really know if they're working on that, but if they are, I would most likely buy that if that came out.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give them a chance, but I will say, like Young said, their track record of games has not been particularly great. Looking at
Castlevania
Lords of Shadow.
Fucking Castlevania.
I loved the first game, but I fucking hated that second game. What happened?
Things and stuff, man.
And see, in the first game, guess who was involved? Kojima. What? No. It turned out to be decent? What? And then in the second game, what happened? He wasn't involved. Is that right? It turned out shit. Huh. Exactly. Is there a pattern here that I'm not? I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I've been trying to tell people what I akin this to is people who are like saying that just because Kojima's not there, that it's going to be absolute crap. I don't necessarily think that's the case. There's a lot of people that influence Metal Gear. There's a lot of people that go into making it. Same as George Lucas isn't the only person who invented Star Wars, and you could see what happens in the first three, where he had people helping him and co-directing and giving input. Then the prequels,
well, they gave input, all right.
Then the prequels, which he did completely by himself, director, they're crap. And then the new one that came out from J.J. Abrams is great. Like,
so far, I've been hearing it's pretty good.
So I mean, I understand why people like Kojima, and I like Kojima as well. But I've never been one person to think that one person creates companies or one person creates stories. It's a combination of people. It's bigger than just one person.
But see, the difference in that comparison is that J.J. Abrams is here and Konami's down here. You know what I'm saying? Like J.J.
Ouch.
Abrams
Well, I'm just
Ouch.
isn't comparable to Konami. That's the big
Ouch.
difference.
Konami can get
Like you can have faith in J.J. Abrams to some
Like,
degree.
they're
Konami,
hiring-
I don't know, man.
Konami's hiring people for Metal Gear, so technically you could go Young and
I mean,
apply if you gotta make
let's
games.
look at the timing behind it though. Did you notice that news broke out like a day after this whole announcement of Kojima teaming up with Sony for their new, basically their new partnership? That news about them hiring people for a new Metal Gear that came out a day after that.
Right. I think like like right now they're hiring people who want to work on it. So anybody who knows games and knows how to make games or create games in the slightest can apply there, and they can be passionate Metal Gear fans and bring that passion to it. That's the only reason why, like I said, I will consider playing it, is because it's not being made by the CEO of Konami. It's not
Right.
being made by the people who have upset most of the gaming community. And frankly, I think most of the gaming community is pretty upset with Konami.
Most of the industry is upset with Konami at this
but
point.
at the Game Awards, those are industry people
Yeah.
who are booing. So not a
Yeah.
lot of people are happy with Konami, but they're hiring people now that could get in there and could make a new Metal Gear game that is decent.
Are
Could.
there people willing to apply to that company?
Look,
is my
if-
question.
When you heard the stories
if I
about what
was-
was going on there.
If I was passionate about game design, if I didn't spend 4 years in college for no reason, basically, and I really liked what I got my degree in, I would go to make another Metal Gear game. That's how much I love that franchise. I would give it a try.
But, I
First
mean,
time you put me on dish duty
At the expense of being treated like shit?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right, that's
With
the risk you're taking there.
With the exception of that, if I went there and they weren't making me scrub the floors and clean dishes and stuff, I might make a Metal Gear game. I think there's been a lot of fan writings and fan stuff that's just as good as canon Metal Gear. Like I've seen some little short films, and some people have wrote little. I guess we'll call them novels that they post in the Metal Gear Solid fan club, and they're good. Like
Is it
they
fan
make
fiction?
sense.
It's
Yeah,
fan fiction, isn't it? Okay. Just
Yeah.
want to make sure. Just clarifying.
right. And so that's my point. Is it could be good. I'm gonna hope, because I love the franchise and I don't want to see it die.
Right.
There's so many more stories to tell and things to explore. But it is Konami, like you guys said. So that's my thoughts on that. This is the last episode of the Codec, guys, for the rest of the year. It seems like that's gonna be forever. It's I guess a week and a half before our next episode. But I'd like to do something a little unorthodox.
Oh boy.
I wanna ask your favorite interview, but I don't want to ask you individually. I want to count down from 3, and on go, just say
it. Oh, that's
your favorite interview of the year.
so. Are we counting down, or are we just saying it right now?
I'm gonna count down.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna say it at the same time.
Okay. All right.
Do you need a second, Young? You look like you.
I
There's
need a
too
second.
many good ones.
I
Like,
know.
how
I
can
need
you-
a second. How can you?
You
Like,
gotta
it's-
pick your favorite. They're all great. I mean, we all know that they're great. They're all great. But we gotta pick your favorite. Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody's got that one that they would just want to do over and over. You got it. You got it, Ronan.
No, I mean I'm totally ready for the ire that's gonna come behind. Oh, you didn't say this one. I knew it.
Well, we'll put a disclaimer out there so nobody can get mad at us. Just
Oh, they will still. They will still.
Well, they can't because there's a disclaimer here, so you're not allowed. Internet rules apply.
Disclaimer does not stop anything when it comes to the internet. It does not stop the internet.
Yes, I mean, have you ever seen Jim Sterling? He clearly says this is satire. Ready, and then he says his sentence.
And then people still give him shit for it too.
I love.
Regardless.
Yeah, I love that. He's under due diligence required to tell you that this is satire. Okay, Young, you ready? You look really
I guess I
like
don't know.
you're back.
It's like I don't know, man.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. David Hayter.
James Horan.
Are you being serious?
There we go.
I
There we
mean,
go, folks.
that was a joke.
That's the countdown.
I liked
for the-
having James Horan as a guest, but I mean, come on. He forgot a lot of the things, and it was just it was a very interesting interview, that one. But or he was playing coy, one of those things. No, David Hayter is mine.
Who did you pick, Ronan? I didn't hear you.
I said Paul Eiding. Like I love David. Don't get me wrong. I love that interview as well. And also, but I feel like Paul
Eiding was a close second.
Good.
He is amazing when you really sit down and talk to him. He's hilarious. So yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. I enjoyed all the interviews, but I'm just saying, like, for the interview for the year this far, I
guess for me, David Hayter was just the most memorable one because it was the first one.
It was our first one,
and it was
right.
David Hayter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I hear you on that.
I'm so upset that you missed that second interview with him and Quentin, man. You would have loved that.
Me too, dude.
I know.
But don't worry, we got next year coming up. We're gonna have Mark Meir back, so you'll have a chance to get in here on that one. We'll have David back at some time. Maybe we'll do David and Paul as a dual interview. I'm thinking of some good combinations for dual interviews for this coming up year. But yeah, I think Paul Eiding was a good runner-up. My runner-up would be Debbie Mae West. I love talking.
Yes,
she
that
was
fun
so
too.
fun. She was just a fun lady. And Heather they're all been really good, but it would be tough. It would be tough to rank them. But yeah, I had to go with David.
I mean, Quentin was also hilarious.
Yes, he was.
Quentin's like family now, man. That's not an interview.
He is
talking with family. So that's it, guys. This was our last episode of the Codec this year. I want to go ahead and thank all the people who made this possible. Obviously, Yong coming in here on our first interview with David, along with Ronan, but we also picked up another interviewer halfway through the year with Jen, who could not be here today, but I'm sure she sends her love. Some people have really enjoyed having her perspective on there as we've been getting in some different titles and talking about some different things on the show. She brings a different kind of opinion on here. And I really like that. I think that's really cool. But you guys have been amazing. It's been fun interviewing all these different people. I hate that we've had to miss some of sometimes I got one guy, sometimes I got the other. We all got these crazy schedules. Yeah. Hopefully next year we'll have more consistency to how we lay these interviews out. That way we can make sure everybody's here together. Got to thank the sponsors as well. Starting with BattleBox. Anybody who's here in the chat, what I would really appreciate you would do if you could for us is just open up the sponsor tabs. Just show them some love. We updated the profile. All you got to do is click the little picture. Should take you right to the sponsors page. Just show them some love. Give them some traffic. If you're not buying anything, that's fine. But it is the holiday season, and you could use our discount codes in there if you're picking up some products or you're looking for something to get for your loved ones. Got different ones, but BattleBox was one of our first sponsors, and it's funny because they're completely non-gaming related, and I love them for sticking on and being a sponsor of our show, which is kind of cool because I like that kind of stuff. It lets me do some videos on the outside work. Control Freak, they came on, got an interview from us, has some really cool gaming grips. I think Young and Roni, you guys both have some.
Yes.
So they're a cool little thing. I like that little accessory. I like that they're real cheap, and you can just pick them up if you need them. If you don't, some games I like them, some games I don't. It really depends on what I'm playing. So big shout out to Control Freak for sponsoring us. Screenman Gaming, one of our newer sponsors. Haven't really talked to them very much lately, but they have been very, very nice to us. In getting us what we need, and I think some of our streamers just individually kind of promote them. I think Ron, I think you got a Green Man. I think Ish has one. GameScope, another one of our newer sponsors. Those guys were really cool. We interviewed them on the show as well. They're a real down to earth company, and that's what I really like about GameScope is it's 2 or 3 people selling a product that they make here in the United States. I think that's really cool. It's a different type of equipment. If you're not into esports and stuff like that, it might not be for you, but I like it because I have problems seeing sometimes because I had laser eye surgery. So I like me a little game scope on there. Helps me look at different things. And then Hitbox, man. The Hitbox family has been great. I've met a lot of people through here. I met you through Hitbox, Ronan. That you were one of our first streamers on the team. Met a lot of good people with Savvy, Penguin, Mike, Kelso. Those guys have all been really, really amazing and have really helped support us and kind of get us off the ground. So next year is looking really good for us. And Hitbox has no small part to that. Get us front page when we need it so we can reach a wider audience. Frag Nation, obviously, that's where I started my work and whatnot. So they already know I love them. And then Steel Series, they hooked us up with some headsets and stuff like that. I think we all got some beanies and shirts and stuff. My shirt didn't fit, but yeah, we got some cool stuff from our sponsors, and we really appreciate that. And Yong, you've been really instrumental in helping us grow and stuff as well. So definitely a little extra thank you to you. I think that's all the thank yous, other than each one of you amazing fans. Every single person who tunes in. There's some people who come here every single week to see this show, every single week, and hopefully, the way that things will work out now is you'll actually have some content to watch on the week that we're off. It's taken me a while to get the charity stream done. Yeah. So myself, Yong, and Ronan will be posting the charity stream interviews where we interviewed the boss, we interviewed Quentin Flynn and Heather Halley, all there. So we'll have some other interviews. If you missed that, you guys can go back and watch that, as well as we'll have this Josh Keaton interview put up as soon as he sends us his little voice clips tomorrow after he feels good. So there's content for you guys. We will be back in January, I believe. I believe we'll have a show on the 1st or 2nd, because that's a weekend, and that's after Christmas. So we'll line somebody up. I'm thinking Jay Tavares. If you want us to get Jay Tavares in here on the 1st and 2nd, let us know on Twitter. I think everybody wants to.
Talk about those hamburgers.
That's right.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I feel like if we get Jay, if we start off with Jay, that would be a great way to start the year. He was a fun character there, and he's been in some movies and stuff like that. And we'll go from there. So before we get out of here, Yong, anything else to say?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's been a great year. Glad to have come on board here, and yeah, I mean, I got to meet a lot of cool people. 2 awesome co-hosts, some amazing guests, and a ton of awesome fans who tune in. And I mean, I hope you guys got a lot from our content. And of course, there's next year. We're going to bring you guys even more content. It's going to be great. We only go forward and up from here. It's going to be awesome. And I just can't wait to see what the future holds. So yeah, just thank you too for having me on board, and thank you to the fans for being awesome, and thank you to all the guests who came on for these awesome interviews. We had a ton of fun with every single one of them, and
yeah, we're gonna go even deeper.
Yeah,
gather
back to
more
hell.
We're gonna gather more guests and more interviews just to combat shitty
Cypher.
Shitty
Combat Konami.
Anyway. Like that. What about you, Ronan? Any final thoughts for the year?
I mean, yeah, it's been a crazy ride throughout the year. Like when you first told me that you had talked to David on Twitter about getting this interview, I'm just like, this sounds like a thing, chat. But yeah, I'm just like, I almost lost my shit in the chat when you said that, because I'm like, this is you
were
kidding,
playing
right?
Metal Gear Solid 3.
I was. At the time you said that, I was streaming Metal Gear Solid 3, and I had to stop from like fucking loot. I almost lost my shit on the stream. I'm just gonna say that right now. So when you told me about that, it was a skepticism, but I was also excited at the same time. But I'm glad that it actually went through, and that this whole thing took off from where it happened from there. And like the amazing audience we've had, the great response we've had for these, I can't thank you guys enough for that. And for allowing little old me to join in on this little club of ours about Metal Gear and all these great interviews on top of that. It definitely means a lot. I've met a lot of great people doing this. A lot of new fans have showed up because of this, and that's fantastic. I also want to thank the moderators in the chat for being here and helping out as well, because what you guys hold it down when I can't do it myself, which is what I try to do a lot of the time when we do these interviews, is try to make sure the chat's in a good position. But you guys do a lot of the work there, so I want to thank Penguin Jutsu and Boney B for helping out in the chat to make sure that happens, and Wolfgang. You definitely hold it down in the chat, and we really appreciate that. To all the guests we've had, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for giving us your time to talk to you, because without that, we wouldn't be where we are today without that. And you guys definitely helped us in a big way by allowing us to actually get a chance to talk to you guys. So thank you so much for that. And I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be a fantastic year next year. We got a lot more guests lined up, and we got a lot of new content to look forward to. And hopefully we take things up quite a few notches from what it was this year. So we'll see where things go from there. But thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it.
Making it my mission to make sure that we have the elusive couple voice actors that we didn't get this year, like Kiefer Sutherland and Mark Hamill. Make sure we get them within the first 6 months of next year. Yeah, Robin Atkins.
That's been awful.
Yeah, we're gonna get some of these elusive ones. I promise. We've got Chris Zimmerman now has been helping me kind of reach some of the ones that maybe I couldn't. She actually hooked us up with Jay. And so we'll be doing that, and there'll be a lot more content, a lot more interviews. I know sometimes we had like news shows and stuff like that. We're gonna have a lot of interviews, and then our news shows will follow those particular interviews. But I got a couple pieces of good news before we sign completely off. Anybody who won a giveaway or a prize throughout this year that maybe hasn't claimed it yet, I know there's a couple of you out there where we had like shipping issues and stuff like that. This week coming up,
Penguin.
She's definitely one of them. My dedicated job that the guys at Frag Nation and Nation Fusion have given me, I don't have to do anything else next week. I have the whole week off except sending out all the stuff. They sent me everything. I've got everybody's posters, Control Freaks, a couple game scopes are going out. Some of our charity stream winners got shirts going out today. We got the posters being signed by the different celebrities, guests that we had on for the charity stream being sent out. So I'll be working on that all week. So maybe you'll have yourself a nice little early Christmas present, as we'll be getting all that stuff out Monday, and we'll be expediting most of it. So that's some good news for you guys. There's still some fun stuff that we'll be talking about and giving away on Twitter this coming up week, so stay tuned for that. And that's it for me. Ronan, time to say goodbye.
Yeah, lastly, I wanted to give a big thanks to you guys. Daily, Young, you guys are fantastic, amazing co-hosts here, and it's been a pleasure to be part of this with you guys. So I appreciate that. And once again, thank you to all the viewers that helped us out. We really appreciate that. All of our sponsors, Hitbox as well. You guys are amazing. So thank you so much for that. But until next time, you guys stay classy, stay sharp, and I'll see you all next time.
Young, it's time for you to say goodbye, sir.
Thank you for tuning in this year, folks. Look forward to next year. Again, just forward and up from here on out. So with that, I will see you guys next time. Young out!
All right, guys, we'll see you next year on the Codec.